Hello, I'm Rachel, and today we'll be talking about how to take control of your mind and therefore change your life. So, let me just share my screen. So, the first thing you want to do is to become the CEO of your life. And that doesn't mean like sort of the CEO of a company, but what it actually means is take responsibility and extreme ownership on it for life. So, extreme ownership just means that, whatever that happens to you, whatever that you choose to do, whatever, basically everything in your life, you'll take responsibility for. Waking up early, waking up late, not exercising, eating bad food, whatever the case is. And it's really important to note that where you are, whether you're currently successful, unsuccessful, on the way to success, it's all the results of the choices you've made. So maybe you've chosen to eat ice cream last night. Well, this morning, when you weigh yourself, you've gained some pounds. And that's exactly logical because you ate some ice cream the day before and sort of overate, if you want to put it that way. So, one thing to note is when you accept this, that, all the choices you made brought you to where you are now, that's how you're going to be able to change where you're going to be in the future because you're going to start making different decisions. And I will also show you one really powerful decision making question I think, in 2 weeks later. So there will be a video on that as well. The second thing is how you respond to things because some things obviously we can't control when it happens to us. For example, traffic. Like traffic could be bad when you're going to work or when you're coming home from work, when you're picking up the kids from school. But there are many ways to treat this. So number one, you could be that pissed and angry driver, like, why do I have to wait in this traffic? This is such a waste of my time. Or you could be another driver where you just be like, okay, I accept that there's traffic. And how can I better use my time? Maybe I could listen to the podcast while I'm in the car. Or maybe I could listen to the radio or I don't know, do something. So that's how you basically change how you respond to things. And you'll find that your life instantly becomes better because of how you think. And one of the biggest fears of human beings is actually regrets. Like, I wish I could have, because there's two kinds of regrets. One is you regret what you've done, which is sometimes it happens. The other one, which most people will have, is actually regretting what they didn't do. Because there's a lot of times, maybe because of fear, maybe because you're anxious, maybe because you're nervous, and maybe you just felt like, oh, maybe it's not going to make a difference. And then you just didn't do that particular thing. And then afterwards, when you think back on it, like maybe 5 years down the road, when you think back, you'll just be like, maybe I should have done it. What would my life be like if I've actually done that thing? What would my life be like if I had quit my job and started my side hustle? What would my life be like if I actually went to the gym to exercise every single day? Would I have like six packs now, maybe? So the idea is you don't want to have these kind of regrets. And the way you prevent this is actually just do it. Like as long as the activity doesn't harm anyone, I would reckon that it's best to just do it so that you won't have any regrets of what you didn't do. And it also gives you like a new perspective as well. So you no longer have this, I wish I could have thoughts. You'll just be like, okay, maybe this didn't work out. How can I do it better next time? How can I do it differently next time? And one thing to note as well is when you're thinking of how you respond to things, you want to look from the outside of the glass. So you want to detach yourself from your thoughts, because the thoughts somehow they're really powerful and they affect how you feel as well, which is why you want to detach yourself. Whenever you're having negative thoughts, you want to detach yourself. You want to find out why you're thinking that way and then ask this question of how can you think in a way or gain a perspective that helps you see the silver lining or the good in bad circumstance. So maybe your wife spilled coffee on your favorite t-shirt, and maybe you can't wear this t-shirt now, but that's okay. Maybe it wasn't a good pairing with your pants anyway. Or like maybe you're in the car and um the tire hit like a nail, and so your car now obviously doesn't drive and doesn't work, and so you gotta walk to work. And there's nothing really bad about walking to work, or maybe taking like, buses or trains. You can think of it as, okay, so now I'm getting more exercise in, and that's gonna help me become fitter. Or now I'm actually, helping the environment, because obviously when there's a ton of cars on the road, then that's not very environmental. But when you're, sharing like a ride with someone, then that's more environmental friendly. So the idea is you want to see the good from the bad, and you also want to see if there's any lessons that you can learn. So lessons, I remember once in my primary school leaving exam when I was 12, I have actually scored really badly on that exam. So it's basically an exam that determines which high school you go to. Yeah, high school. Um, I think it's high school. They call it secondary school in Singapore, but essentially, because of that exam at 12 years old, I was too busy being addicted to games. So I didn't really score really well, and I didn't get into the secondary school that I wanted because it was out of 300 points, and I was expecting myself to get around 250 or 255, but I've only got 233, which is considerably average. So it's not great, but it's not bad either. And of course, I attribute this to being addicted to games, and therefore I didn't really study much. So I didn't go to like an extremely good secondary school, which I expected, but I went to like a normal mediocre one. But it taught me a huge lesson. So the lesson was like not to get myself addicted to games anymore. So now I have a lot more self control, and I also have a better work ethic. Like when I say I want to get things done, I would say 95% of the time I do get the things done. I'm still working towards the 100, but there's always something to improve on. And because of that, also in my secondary school, I pretty much worked my ass off to go from that mediocre class all the way to the first class, which where you could say all the top students are. So I become one of the top 40 in the whole cohort after that experience. So it was a really memorable lesson from that point of view. And there's this quote from this book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, that talks about how your mind is like a garden where you could either, neglect it, and then there's gonna be like weeds and all the worms and all the, nasty pests and stuff. Or you could cultivate it. You could, plant some flowers, plant some like plants, and put in more effort into taking care of it. And that's basically when you take care of your mind, you're essentially taking care of your life because you reap what you sow. And with that, I want to leave you with your thoughts become your reality. Whatever you think is whatever you're gonna become. And because your brain focuses on what you think, whether that's becoming healthier, richer, having better relationships, whatever that you think, your brain focuses on that. So when they focus on that, that's where energy is going to go to. And when energy goes to that, then obviously you're going to put more effort into becoming that. And that's why think blank, be blank. So that's also one of the reasons why visualizing is also one of your strongest motivation. Obviously, your brain works on different things. So number one is what they see, what they hear, which from your ears, and also maybe what you write down as well. So that's kind of like seeing as well. But essentially, whatever it focuses on, that's going to become your reality. So if you are thinking about becoming the healthier, fitter, richer, better you, then think that way. With that, if you like these kind of videos, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you want more tips on living out your best life with value-driven content, my social media links are on the top right-hand corner of the page, which is a mirror image, so it's here. And enjoy.